Police in Lamar, Missouri investigate a bomb threat outside of Casey's and say there is no present danger. A bill in Missouri aims to better protect domestic abuse survivors.
Health officials say we may need a COVID booster shot within a year. I'm Natalie Brand at the White House with what the administration says it's doing to track variants.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
We've had rain all day and it's not over yet. This is KOAM News at 5. Let's go now to Doug Heddy for our first look at the weather. Doug.
Yeah, Dow, just kind of a nasty day outside for us today. It's cold, it's rainy across the region. Thankfully, we haven't had to deal with anything strong or severe, which is something we usually do this time of the year. But you can see the bands of showers continuing to work through. Heaviest rain now in southwestern parts of Missouri and a little bit of a lull on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. But majority of this storm system is passing through. We're still going to have these light showers sticking around as we go through the evening hours and then into the overnight hours for us tonight. But if we look through most of the metro, the heaviest rain, eastern parts of Jasper County down through eastern parts of Newton County. But thankfully, the heaviest rain is starting to push off toward the east. But we're going to continue with these light showers sticking around all through the evening into the overnight hours tonight. And we still even have some chances for a few showers during the daytime hours tomorrow. Temperature is cold. Most of us are sitting right around 50 degrees. We'll slide back into the 40s as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Stays kind of chilly as we head into the weekend. Big warm up Monday, but snow chances on Tuesday, Dow. So we're going to get into that here in just a bit.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Doug. Lamar, Missouri police today called in a bomb squad from Springfield to investigate a threat made at a Casey's convenience store. Police say this morning a man went into the store and claimed his car had a bomb in it. When police arrived, they noticed wiring and a toggle switch inside the car, but after the bomb squad investigated, they determined there were no explosives and that the wires were connected to the car's fan and lights.
In hindsight here, we take the totality of the circumstances that we saw at the time and the instance of the things that we saw in the vehicle, and we erred on the side of safety for the community, and that's come to a good conclusion though out of it.
A suspect is in custody, however, formal charges have not yet been filed. Missouri's House of Representatives votes to offer lifetime orders of protection for victims of domestic abuse. Now, right now, most orders of protection are effective for 1 year only, meaning victims have to repeal the order in court every year or repeat it. Representative Lane Roberts, the bill's sponsor, wants to change this and says this bill was inspired by his time as Joplin Chief of Police.
Generally, a protection order in this state is a 1 year. There is the potential for it to go to 2 years, but after that, a victim has to go back repeatedly. That means that they're going to have to be in the same room as their abuser repeatedly. It's a never-ending thing.
Roberts adds that if the bill is passed, the biggest change made would be that in extreme cases of domestic abuse, the victim would not need to go back to court every year if granted lifetime protection, meaning the burden would no longer be on them. The big housing project is moving forward in Pittsburgh, and it's a bit different than many others. The Villas at Creekside project will bring a gated community with high-end housing for people ages 55 and up. It'll be beside East 4th Street, west of the high school. The first phase of development has been approved. It'll bring 29 houses, and the developer hopes to break ground as early as next month.
We have a huge demand for housing here of all ranges, from low income to high end. We do have those needs here, and our employers are letting us know that we have those needs here.
We're going to hear more about the project and why there are some questions surrounding who will maintain streets once the project is done, tonight at 6. The race to vaccinate every adult American continues, with more than 3 million doses being delivered per day now. But while only about half of American adults have a single vaccine so far, there is news Americans may need another shot within a year of being fully vaccinated. Reporter Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
Americans may need another COVID vaccine shot within a year of being fully vaccinated.
With many vaccines, we understand that at a certain point in time, we need to boost, whether that's 9 months, 12 months, and we are preparing for that, Congressman.
Biden administration officials say they are in discussions to secure more vaccine doses if booster shots are needed, and they say COVID variants may make them necessary.
Ongoing already clinical trials looking at a boost of the original wild type virus vaccine, as well as a boost with a variant specific.
The Biden administration announced this morning it's spending around $1.7 billion in scientific research so the CDC and states can detect and track coronavirus variants.
Right now, these variants account for nearly half of all COVID-19 cases in the United States. And we need more capacity in our public health system to identify and track these mutations.
With the Johnson & Johnson vaccine on pause, the CDC's advisory committee announced it will meet 1 week from today to reconsider recommending its use.
I think they need to make a decision quickly.
Dr. Anthony Fauci said his concern is that the longer it takes to make a decision, the more likely some Americans could decide against getting any vaccine shot at all. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
About 10 million doses of the J&J vaccine have already been shipped to states and are ready for use if the CDC recommends moving forward. Police in Indianapolis say 8 people are dead after a shooting at a FedEx facility. 5 people who were injured were taken to hospitals. 1 is in critical condition. Authorities say the gunman, identified as 19-year-old Brandon Scott Hole, was a former employee of the company. Police say Hole used a rifle and took his own life following the shooting. Federal investigators are now assisting local police as they try to figure out a motive. There's rising anger in Chicago following the fatal police shooting of a 13-year-old boy. Video of the March 29th incident was released yesterday, sparking overnight protests and renewing calls to reform the police. In the video, Officer Eric Stillman responds to reports of gunshots. 19 seconds after exiting his car, Stillman shoots 13-year-old Adam Toledo in the chest. Police say Toledo had a gun, but Toledo's family says his hands were empty and that the boy was following police orders. Coming up in Health Watch, combating allergy season.
Relief for seasonal allergies. I'm Famie Redwood with a possible solution that does not involve medicine.
And later, advancements in life-like robots.
I like it.
Some promising research about how the coronavirus affects the critically ill. A study from the American Academy of Neurology finds stroke is not a common complication for those admitted to the ICU with COVID and is rarely severe enough to cause death. About 25 million Americans suffer with seasonal allergies, but some are reporting they feel better than they have in previous seasons, and some doctors think a COVID prevention measure could be behind the relief. Famie Redwood has more.
Ben and Sherry Rosen's seasonal allergies are so severe, their plans often revolve around the daily pollen count.
Eyes are very itchy. Sometimes it's even hard to breathe.
Sneezing, coughing, and I also have allergic asthma as well.
But the couple says they've noticed some changes this spring.
It's hard for me to speak sometimes just because the allergies are so bad, and I haven't had any of that so far this year.
Some studies suggest mask wearing may be playing a role in alleviating allergy symptoms. Israeli researchers looked at data on nurses who wore masks for 2 weeks. 40% with severe allergies reported less symptoms when they wore a mask. 54% with mild allergies said they felt symptoms improved.
It almost acts like a barrier between you and the pollen when you're outside. It can even protect against indoor allergens if you wear a mask indoors while you're working or what have you, dust mites, mold.
Dr. Purvi Parikh from the Allergy and Asthma Network says she tells patients to change clothes and shower to avoid bringing pollen into the house. So the same thing applies for masks.
You don't want to keep putting that same mask that might have pollen on it on your face every day. You should be washing your mask frequently regardless.
Ben and Sherry say even a little bit of relief is a good thing.
I don't know if the mask has contributed to it, but I know overall, I feel like I've had much less allergy attacks than I've had in past years.
The couple makes sure to take their medications and also gets allergy and asthma shots to help. Femi Redwood, CBS News.
Another way to reduce allergy symptoms is to wear sunglasses to block allergens like pollen from getting in the eyes. New research in the journal BMJ suggests using medical cannabis for severe childhood epilepsy may trigger early puberty. Doctors issued the warning after finding abnormally high levels of testosterone and other reproductive hormones in a 2-year-old boy who had been taking cannabis oil to reduce his seizures. A little bit later, Toyota recalls hundreds of thousands of SUVs due to airbag issues.
Plus, rain and cold temperatures stick around for the weekend. We're going to look at that coming up next.
Store.
It's definitely turned out to be a cold, wet Friday for us today. Temperatures really haven't gone anywhere as we have been sitting near 50 most of the day. And the rain's been light but persistent throughout the day. About a half an inch of rain so far from this storm system. And for the year, we're over 10 inches of rain. We're a little bit above where we should be for this time of the year, but pretty close to the average. 49 in Fort Scott, 49 in Neodesha. We're at 50 in Miami, 50 in Neosho. Stockton is sitting at about 49. Temperatures pretty consistent across the region. We have the clouds, we have the rain. Looking outside from the station, sitting at 50. Our pressure has been dropping as the storm system rolls through, and of course our humidity is up there at 93%. We'll slowly drop back through the 40s. Most of us mid-40s for overnight lows tonight, but we're going to continue to see the clouds and these kind of on and off light showers as we go through the rest of the evening hours. Rainfall amounts, you can see the pockets of heavier rain where you get the greens. That's where we're picking up about a half an inch, a little bit heavier in our northwestern counties, Yates Center over toward Neodesha. But again, this persistent light rain sticks around as we go through the evening hours. It's been letting up a little bit on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, not quite as heavy as what we were seeing in southwest Missouri, but we're on the backside of this system. So the heaviest rain is already through, but we are going to see these pockets of showers as we go through the evening into the overnight hours. You can see the heaviest rain eastern parts of Jasper County and Newton County, but letting up a little bit northeastern Oklahoma, also in southeastern parts of Kansas. We still have this back band that will give us some scattered showers as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Let's go through time. Here's 8 p.m. Still some light showers across the region. And by midnight, the heaviest is off toward the east. We're still going to have these spotty showers. And then it really tapers off by morning. And then as we go through the morning hours tomorrow, we're still going to have the clouds, and I still think we're going to get a few spotty showers, but the bulk of this system is going to push off toward the east. Let's go through the daytime hours. So here's the noon hour, kind of cool, a lot of clouds, random spotty shower again during the afternoon. I think we'll get a little bit more sunshine late in the day. So as we start the day, we'll start into the mid-40s and then we'll warm into the mid-50s for highs. By Sunday morning, another weak little wave passes through that could give us a random shower or two, and then Sunday afternoon looks pretty good. So we're not going to have a lot of rain over the weekend, but unfortunately temperatures are going to be kind of cool. Now as we go into the start of next week, so here's Monday. We warm up, I think most of us near 70 for a high on Monday, but here comes a cold front Monday night. We're going to get some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms, and as the colder air works in, we could see a switch from rain over to some snow by Tuesday morning. So this is something we want to watch. We are going to be above freezing, but it could be a heavy, wet snow. So that's something we'll focus on and kind of watch over the next few days. 54 tomorrow, 57 on Sunday, 67 on Monday, and then a high of only 48 on Tuesday. But a lot of nights we're going to be near freezing, so that's another aspect that we need to watch as well.
Weather cannot quite decide what season it is.
Yeah, Mother Nature, she's a little confused.
Bouncing around. Thanks, Doug. Coming up, a look at the latest advancements made in robotics. They're amazing. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Harold Schmidt served in the U.S. Army Air Corps from 1942 to 1945. The Granby, Missouri native was stationed in London, and we salute Corporal Harold Schmidt, a four-state hero.
Doug Hettis,
you're gonna dig it.
Toyota is recalling nearly 280,000 Venza SUVs from 2009 to 2015. A wiring problem could stop side airbags from inflating during a crash. The recall doesn't begin until May 31st. Toyota says it'll inspect the wires and replace them if needed at no cost. People who attended the failed Fire Festival are set to be compensated. $2 million class action lawsuit is settled with an agreement between the music festival's organizers and 277 ticket holders. Attendees were promised a weekend of luxury in the Bahamas back in 2017, but no, that's not what they received. Billy McFarland, one of the event's co-founders, is serving a 6-year prison sentence in connection with that festival. Airlines are banking on a return to the skies amid another season of losses. Delta says it lost more than $1 billion in its latest quarter, but says it expects to reach break even in June as travel rebounds. American and United Airlines report their quarterly results next week. Overall, the industry is upbeat about a travel comeback as more people get vaccinated. Science fiction is one step closer to reality. That's always true to an extent, but the pandemic has created new uses for robots, and some are becoming more lifelike than ever. Elise Preston reports.
I'm Sophia of Hanson Robotics, one of the first androids in the world.
Sophia may be one of the first, but will soon have company. Hanson Robotics created the android in 2016 and has been improving the technology.
I've been very worried about COVID-19 lately.
Sophia can now carry on a conversation.
You get sad, don't you?
Has a range of facial expressions and can offer a high five. The robot even made news recently for creating artwork that sold for nearly $700,000.
Now we have begun scaling the manufacturing of Sophia so we can make hundreds and into thousands of units.
But the founder of Hanson Robotics is not creating more artists.
I will take your temperature reading and pulse with this little thermal camera on my chest.
The machines are being designed to work as healthcare aids.
Robots like me can help take care of the sick or elderly.
Robots are being utilized in new ways during the pandemic, from disinfecting public areas to delivering food in a restaurant. But there's a new focus on lifelike features. The Russian company Promobot is creating machines that can work in customer service alongside human counterparts. This one responds to voice commands and helps process applications. There are about 10 in use at various locations. This customer says she blinks, so that's a bit scary, but it's generally cool. The robots cost upwards of $42,000, while the makers point out they never need a lunch break or vacation. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The very lifelike Doug Heddy has a final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear more about a proposal in Missouri to offer more protections to domestic abuse survivors. Plus, a southeast Kansas town is suing British Petroleum for a massive spike in natural gas prices during the February cold snap. And in sports, 2 MSSU baseball players have a friendly competition going to see who can have the best season. Stay with us. CBS Evening News, then KOAM News at 6. And millions of years ago, the T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex, roamed the earth, and we might know about how many now. Scientists from the University of California, Berkeley calculated that 20,000 T-Rex lived in North America at any one time, but they were here for a long, long time. That means about 2.5 billion lived and died before they went extinct. Through this method, they also found that a T-Rex could live into its late 20s, they think. I suppose.
It's amazing they can figure all that out.
Isn't that something? They're going to use that formula to figure out how long other extinct animals might have been around.
Yeah.
Okay, the weather looking wet and cold.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get rid of the rain. We are still going to have some showers sticking around tonight, and then a random shower or two tomorrow and also on Sunday. Temperatures stay kind of cool, only into the 50s.
See you right back here for KOAM News at 6. Let's take care of ourselves and each other.